Nano Banana Pro, the newest image generator from Google, how does it stack up to ChatGPT? And that's what we're going to be looking at in this video today. You can see here on the screen, I have a picture that Nano Banana Pro has generated and the prompt that says a minimalistic black and white line art diagram similar to an IKEA instructions showing how to build a simple wooden stool in 3 steps. And then I say step 1, attaching 3 legs to a round seat base with screws. And you can see that there's the round seat base. Here are our screws, and I go on to add a hex key, and you can see that in the image itself. You can see it in the diagram. It is all there. Step 1 is good. Step 2 says show tapping the legs with a hammer. It is indeed doing that. It looks amazing. And then we go on to say step 3 shows the finished stool standing upright, and make sure that we label step 1, 2, and 3, and we can see Nano Banana Pro has absolutely nailed this prompt. There are no problems with this. It works perfectly. If we move on to ChatGPT, we can see our prompt there, and if we scroll down, we can actually see step 1 is a little bit weird because it tells you to screw through the top, and then here's our table. But if you go to the finished product here on step 3, which it actually doesn't tell you step 3, there are no holes on the top of the table, so it doesn't transfer forward. So Nano Banana Pro has to win on this result. And that is just the first of 16 different tests we're going to try in this video. And the prompts are going to get harder and harder and more advanced. And we're going to see what these models can do. And just a quick reminder, if you like AI, don't forget to subscribe. Our next prompt is a close-up photorealistic macro shot of an elderly woman's hands knitting a complex wool pattern. She is holding a semi-transparent knitting needle, and focus on the textures of the wrinkled skin and the subsurface scattering of light through her fingertips and precise interlacing of the yarn loops. So we can actually see here, let's count her fingers, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I guess her thumb is there. So the fingers look good on both hands. We can see the wrinkles on her hands itself. We can see the transparency of the needle and the light through her fingertips and everything. Nano Banana Pro has really nailed this prompt. It looks really good. So this is the ChatGPT version. You don't really see the scattered light coming through her fingers like you do the Nano Banana Pro model. The yarn looks okay, but it's not like an advanced pattern like we asked in the prompt. So it's not bad, but Nano Banana Pro is once again better. So what is really new in Nano Banana Pro versus just Nano Banana? And that is image quality. You can go all the way up to 4K now. So you can generate 1K, 2K, and 4K. And then you can also upscale lower resolution images all the way up to a crisp 4K. Text also is supposed to read perfectly now. So no more crazy mumbo jumbo text. Packaging text should stay sharp, legible, and stable. And then there's also visual reasoning. So if you said, hey, can you add 3 cups and 2 books? It's going to actually think before it generates the image, making sure that your picture has 3 cups and 2 books. And in this video, our test, we're going to try all this stuff. We're going to put it to the test to see how well it works. They also have stronger faces and identity controls, so you can really hone in on your character, and then you can adjust it to whatever you want it to be. Whiteboards, infographics, they all should make sense now, and it should just overall stick to detailed prompts better, where it follows every single detail, which is why, so far, to this point in the video, you can see why Nano Banana Pro is working as well as it is. And later in this video, I'm going to show you something really cool I set up to make image generation tests much easier going forward. So for this video, I will be using Higsfield AI. I'll have a link in the description below as always. And at the top, we can go to Images, Nano Banana Pro. You can click that, and now you're going to come to a screen that looks like this. This is just things I've generated in the past. At the bottom, we can describe our scene. I'm going to put in our prompt, a neon sign, and a rainy cyberpunk alleyway that spells synth wave in bright pink cursive. And below it is smaller green digital sign that says open 24/7. The sign are reflecting in a puddle on the ground. So there's a lot going on there. We have some writing. We're going to test it all out. We're going to see how well it works. And because we are using Higgsfield, if I want to jump around between models, we can just quickly jump between different models here. We can choose the aspect ratio. I'm going to leave it 1:1 and just want to keep them all consistent. And then we can also choose to make our resolution higher, our quality better. So we can go 1K, 2K, or 4K. And again, this is all based off Nano Banana Pro, depending on what model you pick, that option will change. We can also say, hey, we want to generate 2 of these or 3 or whatever. Doesn't matter. You can decide, but for the sake of this, we're going to generate only 1 image, and we're going to compare this once again to ChatGPT. Then if you wait a few seconds, you're going to get your image that looks like this. From here, if we want, we can even just turn this into a video. Pretty cool platform. Now, let's look at the image itself. So we can see here, we have our text at the top. It is Cyberpunk. That is not cursive though, so it didn't technically follow that fully. It did make this green, and it does have the reflection in the puddle. The puddle looks good. The entire alleyway does look cyberpunk-ish. It's not bad overall, but how does it compare to ChatGPT's model? And we can see here, this is our sign, and I just want to show you the comparison. Cyberpunk, neon things around versus this version here. And that is the puddle. This is what it looks like in the puddle. So I don't know. I think the Nano Banana Pro one is better. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. So far, I gotta give the edge to Nano Banana through all the different tests. All right, up next, let's just start generating, and then I'll explain to you the prompt. A sculpture made entirely of transparent, jagged glass in the shape of a roaring lion. The glass lion is filled halfway with thick, glowing blue slime that is splashing against the insides of the glass. Studio lighting, black background. That is pretty difficult. We have our lion here, and we can see the liquid inside. Does that look like slime to you? That's the question. It does look kind of slimy, just the way the texture is here. We can see the glass, we can see it splashing, and we can see the black background. This one came out pretty good. I gotta say, it followed it pretty well. And now we come over here, and we're still waiting.
5 minutes later.
All right, so here we go. We have it. I want to zoom in a little bit, and I want to see, that looks like bubbles, doesn't it? This looks less slimy. It looks like there's slime on the top, kind of, that's falling into water, but then this kind of looks bubbly. The lion also looks more plasticky than this one. I guess this one kind of looks like plastic too, now that I'm thinking about it. I don't know. What are your thoughts in the comments below? We got our lion with our slime. So far, Nano Banana is pretty impressive, but as the prompts get more advanced, I really want to see how well it does. And I want to show you something I've been working on to make this entire image generation comparison a little bit easier. If you go to the Franklin A website, and I'll have a link in the description below, if you go to the more, if you know, I run AI code tests, and those are just little tests I do for these different prompts. So if you want to see Minecraft through time, you can see all the different models we've tested it on. We can actually see the code, and then we can actually even preview and play based whatever it made. Well, I'm going to start doing the same thing with image tests now. So you can actually see all the different image tests that we're going to have. We're going to try to keep a running history of these tests to see how well they do. So we can actually see all the different image tests that we have. And these are all the ones I'm going to run in this video. I'm going to kind of go through it. You're going to get my thoughts, but you can actually go through and we can click anyone. So if we want to go to the line one, we can actually click the model and we can see Nano Banana. We can see ChatGPT 4.0, and that's the one that we're using right now. We can actually see the prompt, so if you want to try it yourself. And then we have the evaluation criteria. So just things to look for while we're looking at this model, and you can quickly see all the different ones we are generating. So just something kind of fun I'm going to do to track image generation over time, just so we can get a better baseline going forward in future when more image models come out. Our next prompt, a wooden table with 3 objects arranged in a line, a red apple on the left, a blue cube in the middle, and a green pyramid on the right. The blue cube is floating slightly in the air and casting a shadow on the table, and the apple has a bite taken out of it. So we're going to start with the ChatGPT version first. You can see what it looks like. There is our apple. We can see the shadow of the cube, and it looks like the pyramid also has a shadow and the apple has a shadow. The thing is, our prompt says casting a shadow on the table. And now if we go to Nano Banana and you can see what it created, the apple looks a lot better. Let's just start there. You can see the apple here. It looks a little bit more cartoonish. It's still realistic, but this one just looks a little bit cleaner. And you can see the light coming in through the window, where here we're not sure where the light's coming from and the shadow's just kind of strange. But Also, if you look at the prompt, it says casting a shadow on the table from the blue cube. And here it has a shadow, but it's also casting it on top of not just the table, but the pyramid as well. And we didn't really ask for that, where this one worked a little bit better. And you can kind of see the shadows of the other one. They're like faint. It kind of blends in nicely. It looks like a very good photo. Our next prompt is a flat lay photograph of exactly 7 distinct chocolate chip cookies arranged in a circle on a white plate. In the center of the circle is a single strawberry. So let's count our cookies, shall we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We indeed have 7 cookies with our strawberry in the middle. The strawberry, I guess that makes sense. It has to lay on the side. Just a little bit interesting. It is a circle. It's pretty good. Not a bad photo. We can see the table behind it. The cookies are all distinct. They're all different. So that is Nano Bananas. Now we go to ChatGPT's. The strawberry is a little bit too big for the cookies. That's my first thought. And then also the shadow. So you can see the shadow of the strawberry over here, but it's more on the strawberry than on the plate. And then they have a shadow on the right of the cookie here, but it also is like going higher up over here. So the shadow's not really consistent within the image. How many cookies do they have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they have 6 cookies, not 7, and the shadows are kind of off. So Google is right. The Nano Banana Pro can actually count and reason properly. I'm going to start the ChatGPT one first because it takes much, much longer. A colorized photograph from the 1920s of a samurai warrior shaking hands with a medieval European knight in full plated armor. So that's there. You can see both. The detail's pretty good. You can see the detail on both of them. Not bad overall. And then let's continue our prompt. They're standing in front of an Art Deco skyscraper. So you can see that in the background. We can see the timers kind of colliding, coming together. We can see ChatGPT, and this one is still working, and I started it earlier. ChatGPT is really slow in comparison to Higsfield AI. So if you want to do it a little faster and you want to take advantage of their Black Friday deal, Higsfield AI right now is probably my go-to for image generation. But I figure I can run 2 at the same time and make it a little faster. I guess not. All right, so this is ChatGPT's version of the same photo. You can see the guy's face on this one. It's more like shadowy and like hidden on the Nano Banana version, but I think his suit and his armor is much more detailed, both of them actually, versus these. It's kind of like washed out, I guess. It's not terrible by any stretch of the imagination, but I still think Nano Banana Pro is a better model comparing the two. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. This is just my opinion. I could be wrong. Fight me in the comments. Let's go. All right, so we're going to try the kitchen sink prompt. There's just an insane number of things going on. So we have a wide shot. A cyborg cat vendor is selling glowing potions. Let's start there. We see our cyborg cat selling the potions over here. That's kind of cool. To the left is a stormtrooper eating a taco. So that's there. And then in the sky is a dragon made of clouds. And we can see that there. And it is fighting a UFO. We can see the dragon fighting the UFO. And is in the style of Van Gogh's Starry Night. And we can see that as well. And then it is a 3D render, and the color palette is strictly teal and orange. It followed it all to a T, and the results were absolutely mind-blowing. Can we all agree that is an absolutely insane generation? Meanwhile, we have ChatGPT that said, no, we cannot do that for you. All right, moving on. We have our prompt here. 4-panel infographic illustration with a retro comic book style, showing the steps to bake a pizza. Panel 1, top left, labeled prep, hands kneading dough, and bowls of ingredients like cheese and pepperoni. We can see the bowls. There's 2 bowls of pepperoni, 1 bowl of cheese. Let's see the next one. We can see sauce, pepperoni, and cheese. 3 different types. Nano Banana Pro versus ChatGPT, which is just 1 bowl type. Well, 2, I guess there's the cheese there. We can see the assembly. We can see the assembly here. Layer the flavors high, knead dough, and gather goods. So this is a lot more detailed as a guide. And then we can see the family. It is also retro. I think in terms of detail, overall aesthetics, everything, Nano Banana. Up next, we have this dark cave here. that is going to be lit up by this blue mushroom. We have the flame here, the torch being held by the adventurer with a warm orange light, and then the lights like mix, the blue and the orange mix to make a purple cave wall with like purple shadows. This is very bright. It doesn't really seem like purple shadows to me. It looks like purple walls. Nano Banana really didn't get this one right. And I think GPT-4o did this one a lot better. So GPT-4o won one, finally. Good job. Up next, we have this prompt here, and it is massive. You can kind of see it all here. It's like 10-stage evolution of a single plot of land, and we can see our plot of land expanding out. And this is why I like this evaluation criteria, because if you don't want to read this entire prompt, you're not forced to. You can just look at the evaluation criteria and say, okay, did it manage 10 distinct stages? And the answer is no. It only has 9, where GPT-4o actually does have 10. So although the details aren't like as prevalent, there's not as much detail, and it didn't follow this one here. So is there the original tree from step 4, did it survive to step 10 as requested? Well, if you look at step 4, there's a tree here, but it's not the same tree. It doesn't look like the same tree. It could be, but we don't know. Where this one here, it's literally the same tree. So despite it missing one of the stages, which is big, at least it transferred over the tree. But then if we go take like a step further, we have this like futuristic with like flying car tower and all that. Does that look, I mean, it is futuristic. We have the little cars here, but I feel like the other one is a lot more futuristic. Like you can see it just looks more futuristic. The buildings look a little bit nicer. I don't know, this one's a toss-up. I'm going to lean more towards GPT-4o just because it followed it a little bit better. All right, all the remaining tests in this video are image-to-image generations, and every single image generation I'm going to use going forward, I'm going to be using AI Dana as the base. If you don't know who she is my wife, but just the AI version, just a running image model prompt thing I use for a lot of these videos. So we can see here, based off this image, the woman is half human, half machine. The left side of her face and body is exactly as she is in the photo, and then the right side of her face is stripped away to reveal a complex Chrome Terminator style animatronics. And you can see here, this is what GPT-4o did. I think this looks really, really good, especially in comparison to Nano Banana. I think Nano Banana just kind of slapped on. I don't know, it looks like a sticker on her face, where this one kind of looks more built in. What are your thoughts? Leave a comment down below. Now, we can go to the IKEA nightmare. So this is, again, we're all starting with like that same input prompt, the same input image. And this time around, it's an IKEA assembly instruction, but it is using AI Dana in the image. So we can see her in GPT-4o. That looks like her. It's really good. And you can see she's like a little confused with the screws. It's amazing. And now we have Nano Banana. I think they're both really good. I think this time it's a tie in this category here. So if you start noticing a trend, when we go image to image, it gets a lot closer. Just text to image, Nano Banana is really good. So let's see if this trend continues. And this is the 3-panel movie makeup transformation. And you can actually see here what our prompt is, as always. But if you notice, before, during, after, it's actually cut off. This is GPT-4o. And just for that reason only, Nano Banana has to win because you can kind of see it all. But outside of that, does her face transfer over? Like AI Dana on the left, which is very close to the original image we uploaded, it says before. That's her in the middle. Is this like a perfect, does that look like her? Her hair color's changed, her eyes are very close, but her like hair color changed and her face has changed a little bit. And then the after, it looks so different than the original AI Dana. Where this one, you can kind of see the general idea of her going forward through the transformation. Nano Banana wins on this test here. We also have the free fall, which is like extreme action and distortion. We can see here, Nano Banana. This is a woman in midair at high altitude skydiving before a parachute opens. And she's wearing her jumpsuit, her goggles are pushed up on her forehead, and her face is distorted by the intense wind velocity. So do we see like the distortion? A little bit. I think this is really good. So GPT-4o wins here, in my opinion. Well, I don't know, actually, on second thought. It doesn't really look anything like her, where this one still has like the general feel of AI Dana. So maybe Nano Banana. Because this just seems kind of like a generic woman that they threw in. Okay, they're both bad. tie, but the opposite direction. It's not a positive tie. All right, so we have the reflection one, and this is the last one we're going to show you. Based off the image, the woman is standing in front of a large mirror. The woman in the real world is crying with mascara running down her face. There's the mascara running down her face. However, her reflection in the mirror is smiling and winking. The room is dimly lit, Victorian bedroom. So we can see here, this is our prompt. We can see what we have, and she looks good. We can see her smiling. She looks a little evil in the mirror. Pretty cool. Nano Banana did a good job. And then there's this version here. Wow, I thought the last one looked evil. Look at her on this one. Wow. Okay, so I think they're both pretty good here. I really think when you go image to image, that's when you start noticing that they're a lot similar. When you're going text to image, that's when you notice Nano Banana is ahead. Well, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. It took me a little while to set up the website for this, and I'll have it going forward. If you want to see me add more models, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to go through and generate all the images and add them in to have more of a complete picture and capture and keep that up to date. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. As always, if you guys enjoyed this content, don't forget to subscribe. I cover AI on a daily basis. Like the video, tells the algorithm, hey, I enjoyed this type of content. I want to see more of it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow with another AI video.
So waiting in the hall right there. AI tools, AI news, AI prompts you can use. It's all for free. Just come and see at FranklinAI.com where you're meant to be.